Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be addressing, as you can see in the title of it, Agent versus Asset of Mossad. What is the difference? A video I came across this morning inspired me to look into it and introduce this topic to you because this is quite interesting. We are often saying, oh, this person is an agent of Mossad. But there is a difference between agents and assets, right? So that's an interesting topic, I think. Then we're going to look into King Charles and what he is up to, as well as what's up with this ballroom that Trump just has announced that might cost around probably more than $400 million. What the heck is going on, right? Absolutely crazy. Before we start, I would like to say thank you to Andrea, who just donated on my PayPal. Thank you so much for your donation. Very appreciated. And to those of you who are my Patreon and Locals supporter, I want to say yesterday I had some sound difficulties, some technical issues with the sound, so I could not record the video. However, I put out a post on my Locals and Patreon in which I attached a link to a very interesting interview that I will be addressing in the near future. So make sure to check it out. Again, apologies for some technical situation. So guys, let's start with this video. And after this video, we will go into the explanation, as you can just look it up. What is the difference between the agent and an asset? Let's dive into it right away. Why not?
This is a Mossad agent. This is a Mossad asset. What's the difference, you might ask? Let me tell you. An agent works for an intel agency and is on their payroll, while an asset provides information but doesn't necessarily even always know that they're an asset. And then you have the former agent turned asset who used to be privy to information but now just provides information. And then you have the duos, the agent and asset duos. So Lori Francevay is an agent, and then Erica is an asset. And I don't know who the original creator of this little chart is, but you have a little Mossad chain. That's Robert Maxwell in the middle. And then that is his lawyer and confidant. And then here his stepson is the former Secretary of State. So that's a former agent, a former asset, a current asset. Some other agents may or may not include Steve Bannon, Steve Witkoff, the guy responsible for starving the Gazans, Jack Posobiec, and some other possible assets. Joshua Kushner, his Jared Kushner's tech brother, formerly Andrew Breitbart, and Michael Anton. These people are all connected in unique ways. A lot of crossover that may not mean anything, but at least shows a long-term connection. So Michael Anton, Ben Shapiro, and Jack Posobiec were all fellows at the Claremont Institute. Michael Anton is a former managing partner at BlackRock, director of policy planning for Trump, and speechwriter for Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is all through the Epstein files of attending events with the same. I've talked about this group of people over and over. Roman Abramovich, he's the former owner of Chelsea soccer team and a Russian-Israeli oligarch. He's in the Kabad. His wife, Dasha Zukova, her mother is now married to Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife, who's also friends with all of them, dated Putin, and they're all friends with Ivanka and Jared. Almost every single person that I've listed has been either connected to the military, connected to Harvard, connected to the Kabad, or two of the three, all three. Personally, I think that the military and Harvard are just the top two places for Mossad recruitment. But that's just me. Everything is speculation. None of this is true.
So allegedly, okay, everything allegedly. However, I want to say two things. When she was saying Kabad, she meant Chabad, Lubavitch. Yeah, you can say Shabbat, I think, as well. And I'm not sure about this dating Putin person. So again, not like I know everything, but there are some things to correct because I'm not sure. As far as Roman Abramovich, yes, definitely Chabad Lubavitch connections, without a shadow of the doubt. You know, the billionaire who, I don't know if he still owns Chelsea, the soccer team. I don't know that. But anyway, he was pretty close to Putin. I'm not sure if they still are, because who do you really trust with the news? So let's look into this. When we just go into the searching engine and look up what is the difference between an agent and an asset, what answer do we get? So what is a Mossad agent and what is a Mossad asset? I simply ask this question. And here AI says, the Mossad in Hebrew for the Institute is an Israeli national intelligence agency responsible for human intelligence collection, covert operations, and counter-terrorism. Isn't it oxymoron in this particular case for counter-terrorism? Anyway, primarily outside of Israel's borders. That's where they are. Mossad is primarily outside of Israel's borders. It is one of the main entities in the Israeli intelligence community focusing on foreign intelligence gathering, analysis, and special operations. So, Mossad agent, which I think they say Katsa, a Mossad agent, often referred to as Katsa, Field Intelligence Officer, is a formal trained employee of the Mossad. Role: these individuals are professional intelligence officers responsible for recruiting and handling sources like assets. So when she mentioned Jared Kushner, I don't you think he fits perfectly into this description? Operations. They conduct clandestine missions such as undercover operations, intelligence gathering, and specialized tasks worldwide. So now let me just stop for a moment. When you just consider this, that for example, Jared Kushner is an agent, okay? And then Steve Witkoff is an asset, and they go and meet with Putin. Who do you think they are meeting with? Let's continue. Background. Agents often come from professional backgrounds or have extensive experience in the Israeli Defense Forces. Yep. Focus. They often work under deep cover. Surprise, surprise. But when you can see through the BS, you can see through the BS, right? Operating in foreign nations to conduct activities like surveillance or targeted actions. So now ask yourself, who is Peter Thiel? Is he an agent or he's an asset? All those high-tech AI investors. Or, for example, what's his name? I forgot his name. He bought TikTok. Larry Ellison, right? Yeah, that's his name. I think he could be an agent as well. So now let's look into assets. So they are less significant, however, still important. A Mossad asset is an individual who provides information, services, or support to the Mossad. So like, for example, in my opinion, this is, what's his name? Howard Lutnick? Absolutely. Usually in exchange for money or other motivations. So yes, absolutely, this is Howard Lutnick. Assets are generally, I should say allegedly, right? I'm not saying allegedly anymore. Assets are generally not employees of the agency. So this is like a not frequent money supply, but once in a while you get some money. Sayanim helpers. A unique reported element of Mossad operation is the use of Sayanim, singular Sayan. So we have a lot of those Sayans. Maybe Lindsey Graham is Sayam too, don't you think, guys? A network of Jewish volunteers living abroad who provide logistical support. So like Ted Cruz, for example, they might help with transportation, secure housing, or financial services, but are not direct full-time agents. Informant sources. Assets. Assets are individuals within organizations or countries being targeted who provide actionable intelligence, such as technical, scientific, or political information. So I'm sorry, informant here. This is more like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham. Use. Assets are run or handled by formal Mossad agents, Katsas. So Jared Kushner is above Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and Steve Witkoff and Howard Lutnick. Key differences. Agents are staff officers and employees, and assets are volunteers, sources, or recruited helpers from the local population. Oh, we have a lot of those all around the world. The Mossad is known for its high level of professionalism, operating under the authority of the Prime Minister's office. You know who is the Prime Minister? Netanyahu, with a focus on national security. So let's close this. So now, when we know what we know, let's look at the next project where I'm sure a lot of assets and a lot of agents will be celebrating or maybe sacrificing, because this name of ballroom, you know, like ballrooms, it's very, very close to ball. You don't know what is ball? Well, we will look into ball in a moment, but let's first read this post before we play the video. Let me find it, guys. Here we go. I'm not gonna play it. First, we read it. Trump told reporters, I mean, what is this? Like he's holding this freaking picture on the plane and showing this aboard Air Force One. It's like, I mean, this is like for real freaking Muppet show, guys. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that the 400 million White House ballroom, or maybe B-A-L, ballroom, is not really a ballroom at all, saying the ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military. Speaking on March 29, that was 2 days ago, Trump confirmed that the US military is constructing a massive underground complex beneath the new White House structure, describing it as a protection against drones and other modern threats. He added that the windows are fitted with high-grade bulletproof glass throughout the building. The disclosure is significant because the underground facility is widely believed to be a rebuilt version of the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, the classified presidential bunker that sat beneath the original East Wing before it was demolished in October 2025. That bunker was previously used by George W. Bush during the September 11 attacks and by Trump himself during the 2020 George Floyd protests. Trump had previously said the military wanted it more than anybody, and that the project was supposed to be secret before a lawsuit made it public. The Pentagon has not confirmed the nature of the underground work. The project, estimated at 90,000 square feet and now priced at around $400 million, which is like almost $500 million, is being funded by private donors, I'm sure, including several major tech companies, with Trump insisting no taxpayer money is involved. So we're gonna play this, guys. I just have to go back to myself for a moment and mute myself. Let's play it, but before I do, I want to tell you what came to my mind when I read this. The first thing, like the first, instinct. I don't know if you've seen this movie, Civil War. I think Obama produced this, okay? I never forget, I was flying from, I don't remember, I think it was a year ago. I think it was a year ago. I was flying back home from my trip, I believe from Vietnam. Yeah, from Vietnam. And on the plane, I decided to watch that movie. And it was horrific for me to watch. But now, when I'm hearing this, seeing this, the scene that was very close to the end of that movie, and that was the scene when they were after to kill the president. Well, actually, the journalists were going there to interview the president, and the other forces were there to kill the president, and that was portrayed as Trump. And he was hiding in some underground places. I mean, literally the first thing that came to my mind, if you haven't seen this movie, it's really at the end of it. I think, unfortunately, that's what they wanted, and I think that's still what they want. So I hope this movie never comes to the full fruition, because it was scary as F. Yeah, but the situation in United States is kind of heading into that direction. So let's listen to this ballroom, and then we will definitely look into what is ball.
Is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well. So we're ahead of schedule. That's part of it. The ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military, including from drones and including from any other thing. The glass on the windows, you see the big windows. The glass is extremely thick. It's high-grade bulletproof glass, so all of the windows are bulletproof. I think the Times wrote, gee, some of the windows are fake. We have no fake windows. They said, they talked about a stairway in the south. We don't have a stairway in the south. That was replaced a long time ago. Now the military is building a big complex under the
Do you guys remember when they announced this right here? This is the ballroom. I think it was right after Charlie Kirk's death, like the day after, and then Trump was talking about the ballroom, which was really weird.
I can go over the along to the how are you holding up over the last 3.5 years?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years.
And then a few of us were saying, I'll bet you it's going to be like a military bunker basement. And everyone's like, crazy conspiracy theorist, then made fun of us.
Ceilings, everything's drone-proof and bulletproof. And unfortunately, we're living in an age where that's a good thing. And this is the view from the Treasury, opposite the Treasury. Let me see another one of them. Here's a view on the south with the porch, which is a porch, and it's also a fire stair, basically leading down to the grounds. And that porch will be magnificent, looking in between the columns. We took the stairs out that were on the south side and really replaced them with these stairs. So you have an open porch and you have the closed porch under the columns, overlooking the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, and the Lincoln Memorial / Monument. So that's great. This is a view of the columns as they are going to be made. They're going to be hand carved and they're beautiful. Top of the line, there'll be Corinthian, which is considered the best, most beautiful by far. Okay?
What's your timeline on this thing?
Timeline, so we're ahead of schedule and under budget. And all of this money, all of the money paid are paid by myself and donors. And it's all donors. There's not one dime of government money going into the ballroom. Now the military is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well. So we're ahead of schedule. That's part of it. The ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military, including from drones and including from any other thing. The glass on the windows, you see the big windows. The glass is extremely thick. It's high-grade bulletproof glass. So all of.
Do you guys remember when they announced this?
Okay, a few comments from me. So most of the time, people don't do things for free, especially those kind of people that are so-called sponsors of this project. They definitely, in my opinion, don't do things for free. Most of the times, those who have the least actually have the biggest heart. I'm not saying that they are not good, rich people. Absolutely, there are many, many very wealthy people who are philanthropes, and they are genuinely good-hearted human beings who help others. But overall, you see those who have not much, they will often share with you a lot. So do you think they are doing this just for free? They are just sponsoring this ballroom with the Masonic columns, and I'm sure that numerology is very important, so the proportions are the right way and the numbers all align. They definitely don't do it for free. They do it for something. And the second thought that came to my mind, because now we know that they are all in this together, so who is he really afraid of if he and the rest of them are in the same gang? So it's like mafia, right? Don't you think? He's afraid of those people who he is part of, because even though they are all in this together, they actually want to remove him too. So his own people are his biggest fear. That's how I understand this. And then those people probably are the ones, or some of them, or they are connected to those who can do it, that are sponsoring this project. I hope you are following my thought process here. So now, let's go to the King Charles story, which some of you probably already know. I'm telling you guys, like, it's so clear now, isn't it? UK's King Charles, this is not real king, by the way, but those of you who believe that this is still King Charles, okay, congratulations, will be Patreon for major Jewish security organization, Community Security Trust, which advises Britain's estimate 280,000 Jews, announced monarch's support a day after arson attack in London targeted a Jewish group, ambulances. Britain's King Charles III has agreed to become the patron of one of the country's largest Jewish charities. It's said on Tuesday, a day after a suspected anti-Semitic arson attack in North London. Now, this is from a week ago. I just came across it, so apologies, but here we go. And the Community Security Trust, which advises Britain's estimate 280,000 Jews on security matters, said the king had accepted its invitation to be its patron, reflecting the monarch's long-standing commitment to promoting tolerance, inclusion, and interfaith understanding. The patronage was not a direct response to the arson attack, and Charles, who is titular head, I for sure mispronounce, of the Church of England, has a long history of meeting with different faith leaders and promoting interfaith dialogue. So now, let me take you to this interesting clip. Was King Charles circumcised? Because I didn't know that when he was born, and he went through the experience of his, you know what, being touched in a certain way by the rabbis. So let's listen.
Know who really freaks me out? King Charles. Did you know King Charles has just become the first patron of the UK Jewish lobby group Community Security First? This decision has just been confirmed at the CST annual dinner last Monday, just hours after the arson attack on the Hatzola ambulances in London. And did you know that King Charles himself was circumcised by a prominent London rabbi shortly after his birth in 1948, and later he spent years studying the Torah with his close friend and inspired teacher, the late Chief Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs. And completely unrelated, did you see the first ever portrait of King Charles? I mean, does this look pleasant to you, or does this have a demonic edge to it? I mean, it's that demonic that if you invert it, you can literally see a creature in the middle that definitely resembles the Baphomet. And hey, it wouldn't be a Masonic shit show if the Simpsons didn't predict this portrait having some sort of demonic suppression over it. Check this out. You know, Mr. Burns probably being Prince Charles, where he turns the painting into a fiery royal demon. Nothing to see here, just a normal portrait that when you invert it, you seem to see a certain image. A certain image that sort of resembles a very famously dark image that's been here for thousands of years. The, good old Baphomet. As above, so below. And yeah, it's just a coincidence that The Simpsons predicted this happening to a royal. And years before it happened. There is definitely here about Prince Charles. People definitely don't faint when they come into contact with him. It's just all for entertainment, beautiful people. And I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby. You know who really...
And let's not forget that Prince Charles, before he became King Charles, was a close friend of Jimmy Savile, who was one of the most horrible pedophiles in the UK. And then not just pedophiles, he was into necrophilia, if you don't know what it is, and he was delivering children to the prominent figures. So, actually in that clip you could see the Baphomet, the ballroom, which is ball or Baphomet. There's a difference, I think, but not that big difference, both demonic forces. So I think to wrap this video up, we're gonna go to this post. We started with the agent and an asset, and we're gonna end with it. Not like I trust the United Kingdom national security, but the UK's national security advisor, Jonathan Powell, regarded Witkoff and Kushner, the president's son-in-law, as Israeli assets bent on dragging the US into war with Iran for Israel. Well, this one is an agent, which I believe absolutely. And this one is more an asset. But I would like to know, guys, what you think? Because it's just my opinion. I should say everything allegedly, right? That's how they do it now. Everything is allegedly. But I think the longer we say allegedly, the more we see it's not really allegedly, but it is what it is. So thank you so much for watching. I will attach the links down below in the description box. And to anyone who appreciates the content, please make sure to hit the thumbs up. Check your subscription. My channel is very heavily suppressed, so it's not being recommended. I promise you that. So if you think this is something that people might be interested in, please share the videos on your social media platforms. And if you choose to support my work, the best way is to become my Patreon or local supporter. On those two platforms, I put out an exclusive videos, or like I did yesterday, a post with the video, which you might find very, very informative and interesting. You can also donate on PayPal if you choose to, or purchase my books for children that I have written myself, beautifully illustrated. And another thing, if you have Instagram, I would very, very much appreciate if you follow me there. It's also, of course, free of charge. So let me just take you to my main page. Here you can see the name of my Instagram. It's Ania K_44. And you can see mainly here my travels and places I visit, beautiful places in the world. That is a very, very healthy passion of mine that gives me probably the most energy when I'm traveling. So with all of this being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, we are the leading edge, and we are, lots of love, of course. We are the leading edge, and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video on YouTube. Again, check out, those of you who are my Patreon and local supporter, check out the latest post and let me know what you think about it. I might be addressing this here on YouTube channel as well in the near future. Anyway, guys, have a great week, and I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.